So if you're familiar with my process, then you will think that at this moment I'm moving on to widths really fast compared to other times you've seen me work. And of course you would be right. I am kind of speeding through this sculpture a little bit quicker than normal, as there is not the same call for accuracy here as when sculpting from a live model. So where do we begin when it comes to building out widths? Personally, I like to find a point to start from, and in our case, that's going to be the width of the cheekbones, the widest point of the cheekbones, which is going to be right in front of the ears. That's one of those early measurements that we took. This measurement is taken with calipers, of course, and then I'll add clay to these points until I reach the overall width that I'm after, using the calipers to check. Or perhaps I'll end up right underneath the overall width. That way I'll have a little bit of wiggle room to expand should I need to. Which, if I remember correctly, it turns out that I actually need to. Pretty much all I'm going to need to measure is this one width, as once this width is established, every other width can then be related to it. The widths I'm after are going to belong to the skull underneath the surface of my sculpture. Those are the ones I'll be going after first. These widths are from bottom to top, the width of the jaw at the back corner, the width of the cheekbones, the width of the zygomatic process, and the widest point of the skull. The center line should be visible and present when adding widths. Widths need to be symmetrically added on either side of the center line, the same amount on either side of the face. If this is not done properly, we'll end up with a really strange looking and poorly structured portrait. If we have a tilt to the head, the center line is even more instrumental, as the widths added must still be added at 90 degrees to the center line. However, this can be really tricky to keep consistent between all the different widths when there is a tilt to the head. And that's where the center line comes in. The center line keeps us honest and makes sure that we don't stray from making a structurally sound head. With the width of the cheekbones established, I can begin to build out the width of the jaw. I'll drop down from the cheekbones to the corner of the jaw, where the jaw turns forwards towards the chin. Once here, I continue the width forward towards the chin, tapering it as I go along. The brow can then be expanded in width as well. The zygomatic process is what I'm looking for, and I'm trying to find the relationship the zygomatic process had to the width of the cheekbones. I'll take this somewhat gradually, but as long as I stick to dealing with the structure of the skull here, I can go pretty fast actually. In the beginning, the addition of width is going to mostly be focused towards the interior of the head. I'm not going to transfer the widths all the way forwards to where my profile is. And in that way, I find that the appearance of my sculpture somewhat resembles that of a triangle when observed from above. Essentially, it's a little more sharp towards the front than it will eventually end up being, which of course means less volume, which, as we've spoken about earlier in this video, means more flexibility. Finally, I'll pack on some clay for the width of the skull. Remember that I want my sculpture to appear as harmonious as possible at any given moment, so it's important for me to make sure that the width of the skull is the greatest width present in my work.